All right, folks, welcome to yet another session of Informatica Cloud Tech Tuesdays. Today we're going to be talking about our recently released Oracle E-Business Suite connector. So back during Oracle Open World, we announced our first native cloud connector for Oracle E-Business Suite, and we have with us today Vijay Narayanan, who actually built this particular connector. Vijay works in Informatica Cloud's product management team and has been with Informatica for well over 9 years. So we're very happy to have him today. So on today's agenda, we're going to go over the various Oracle E-Business Suite integration scenarios, and then we're going to briefly go over some of the product lines which you can connect to within Oracle E-Business Suite. As most of you are aware, there are several different product lines as well as several associated modules within those product lines. So we're going to show you all the different product lines you can connect to using our Informatica Cloud Oracle E-Business Suite connector. Then we're going to go over some of the integration architecture that we utilize in order to connect to Oracle E-Business Suite. And then we're going to go into a demo where we're going to show a customer data synchronization task between Salesforce and Oracle E-Business. After that, we'll have our usual summary of learnings, and then we'll have a Q&A session as well as next Tech Tuesdays. So let's look at the various holistic picture of the different Oracle E-Business Suite integration scenarios. At the core of it, Oracle E-Business Suite is a mission-critical on-premise ERP system and is really used as a system of record for a lot of important product information, customer master data information, as well as product SKU information and pricing. Now, when this information needs to get synchronized with newly deployed cloud applications such as Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online, it's important to make sure that you get this information into these systems in a very easy-to-use manner. Apart from this, it's also important that if you're expanding your company's departments and subsidiaries around the world, that if you're utilizing a two-tier ERP system by deploying NetSuite as your cloud ERP system, that you're able to get the product and customer master data into this system as well. The focus of today's Tech Tuesday session, though, is going to be the customer master data synchronization between Salesforce and Oracle E-Business Suite. In subsequent Tech Tuesday sessions, we will cover some of these other scenarios that you see mentioned over here. So let's talk about some of the different product lines that Oracle E-Business Suite supports, connector rather, for Oracle E-Business Suite. So as you can see, there's a wide variety of different product lines in Oracle E-Business Suite, such as the CRM, the financials, Oracle order management, procurement, and we support version 12.1.3 and all these different product lines that you see mentioned here. So to talk about how we actually connect to Oracle E-Business Suite, I'm actually going to bring in Vijay Narayanan to help explain how it is that we connect to Oracle E-Business Suite. Vijay, please add your insights to what's going on here in this architectural diagram.
Yeah. So Oracle has been, I think, the integrated SOA gateway. That's been something that is fully integrated with the Oracle E-Biz from 12.1.3 onwards. And what it allows users to do is publish web services, so that other applications can call those web services and integrate with Oracle. And we are basically built a connector that interacts with these web services. And just to add one more insight here, we've always had a Oracle E-Biz connector, both in our on-prem product and also with Informatica Cloud, because Oracle in the past used interface tables which could easily be accessed using the Oracle database connector. So this is more of a native connector which directly works against the SOA gateway.
Great. Thanks for the explanation, Vijay. So to actually look at how we interact with this integrated SOA gateway, it's now time to turn the ball over to Vijay for a demonstration about how to use this particular Oracle E-Business Suite connector.
Okay. So while I get started here, the first thing to do when you're before going into Informatica Cloud, you need to ensure that you have logged into Oracle eBiz and actually published the interfaces on the SOA gateway. So otherwise, okay, my session has expired. Let me log in again. So that is the first critical step to ensure that the interfaces are published. And once the interfaces are published, you can access the URL, and you need to specify the URL in the Informatica agent. So these are important steps. So unlike other applications which have an API that fetches the list of available objects or published interfaces, Oracle eBiz does not. In fact, we have to get the URLs into a file in the agent for Oracle for us to be able to access those interfaces. Yeah, so if I access the integration repository here in Oracle eBiz, you will see a bunch of interfaces. I'm going to sort by interface type. What you will see is various types of interfaces. Now, for this particular release of the connector, we are supporting the Pale SQL interface. And the reason for this is that most of the CRUD operations, which are specific to Informatica use cases of loading and extracting data, fall into this category here as far as Oracle eBiz is concerned. So we are supporting all these PL SQL interfaces. So if I were to pick, let me go and search for a specific interface so that I can show how this is done. Since we're looking at account sync and the account object in Oracle is essentially customer, so I'm going to go ahead and search for that. So we'll go for a PL SQL interface here. I'm going to search for my customer. Tab out of it. Search for customer account. So I'm using this particular object which you see here. I'm going to go click on this particular interface, and you'll see that I've actually published it. So generally, you need to generate the WSDL here, and then you need to deploy or redeploy the WSDL, and then you get your WSDL URL. So once you have the WSDL URL, you copy it and go to the machine running the Informatica agent. So yeah, you can see this is the machine running the agent, and in the agent, if you were to navigate to main bin RDTM Java lib and wherever the connector is sitting, you will see a file which needs to be populated with this URL. So this is necessary configuration because of the fact that there is no metadata API which can give us this URL in Oracle eBiz, and this has to be populated. I mean, I've already done this in my system here. Yeah, so you populate the URL here, and you also need to populate the Oracle eBiz responsibilities and the application into the SOA header file. So these two files are required to be populated. Once you've populated this with the appropriate values, you can actually go ahead and create a task to execute against Oracle eBiz, which I have already done here. So this is typical SFDC account as a source. So I'm picking up account as a source here. I have target as Oracle eBiz. So I picked up the create customer account object. You can see that I have exposed a lot of interfaces. I got something for orders, something for payrolls, something for quotes. So I'm just picked up the customer object here. I got some filters, which just to kind of restrict the number of data. And then I have my field mapping. Now, with Oracle, of course, there are lots of fields which are actually required to be populated. And you can see this particular interface has lots of fields. And you would need somebody, who knows what are these fields that need to be populated for each of these interfaces. This particular account, the customer create interface, I've hard-coded a lot of values. The only mapping I've done is essentially to map the first name and the last name, as you can see here. Let me just get that. Yeah, so I mapped the names from the SFDC's account name here, and I'm able to run that task. Now with Oracle, there is no concept of batching, so this is pretty much calling the web services one request at a time. If I were to go into Oracle eBiz again, I've already run some tasks here, and I can show you how this looks from the Oracle perspective. So when you run a task, it will go and hit the integration repository, and then you can actually check here on the log. So you can see I've actually executed a customer account creation just before this call here, and if you open this the log here, you can see how the response looks when the task actually succeeds. So you will see, of course, see your request and your response here, but what you will see that Oracle will come back with IDs of an account ID and a status saying that the request has actually succeeded. So that's how you know that it has succeeded. And if you were to look at the Informatica activity log, yeah, so the request has come through. So you can see here, this is my response from Oracle, and I can see the customer ID, account number, party ID, the various Oracle internal IDs that have been created when I loaded that customer, and the status that is true. But you can also, if you were to not have enough data, for instance, which I had in some of the runs, you will see a failure and a clear message saying what is actually required to be populated. So that's how you know whether your task has actually been able to load data or not. And of course, you will also know this in the Informatica activity log based on what happens in Oracle. So let me show you one error scenario here so that we can be clear about how that looks. So here I can open up this. So in this case, I did not populate a required column, so I have a clear error message from Oracle. So that's how this actually works with Oracle EBS. The important thing to note is to make sure that the interfaces are published and you've gotten the URL and populated it in the Informatica agent. Let me see if things are a little better. Yeah, so this is the file that you will see once you've populated the agent. You need to essentially specify the full URL of that particular interface which you publish, and that's what shows up when you select Oracle eBiz as a source or a target.
All right, folks, so what you saw just now was a demo by Vijay Narayanan of our Oracle eBusiness Suite connector. Now, there were a lot of administration and utilities you had to go into within the Oracle eBusiness Suite itself to view the log files. So if you do have any questions around that or how to actually configure the connector, please type it in the chat panel and we'll get to it in the Q&A section. So let's look at some of the TechTuesday tips for success. So one of the most important ones that you saw Vijay do was to specify the WSDL URL in that EBS WSDL config file. So please make sure that you do configure that URL for the successful working of the connector. You also want to make sure that you have all the correct parameters populated in the EBS SOA header properties file as well. And finally, you've got to make sure that any WSDL that is generated is actually deployed into the Oracle eBusiness Suite SOA gateway. So as you saw earlier, as far as the integration architecture is concerned, we go through the Oracle eBusiness Suite integrated SOA gateway. So you want to make sure that all these WSDLs are actually deployed in that gateway in order to make sure that you can connect to Oracle eBusiness Suite. So with that, we have now come to the Q&A session. And Vijay, the first question we have is, about batching. So can this particular Oracle E-Business Suite connector support batching?
No, it cannot, because Oracle itself does not support batching. It's a typical web services scenario, and it has to be one request at a time.
Okay. And then there's also a question about some of the interfaces. So the question is around why we can only access through the PL SQL interfaces, and whether there are other interfaces that are also worthwhile accessing.
Yes. So we've taken a decision to roll out the PLSQL interface first, because it's got about over 8,000 interfaces pre-packaged by Oracle, which most of them deal with CRUD operations, meaning create or update, delete type of things, which are very relevant to the Informatica use cases. But the other interfaces are on the roadmap, especially some of these newer interfaces which Oracle has been encouraging customers to use. And specifically, if I were to look at that, there are a couple of them actually. Let me open up my Oracle here quickly. So there is the business service object interface, which we may look at going forward. And of course, we already support the open interface through the tables, but we may also add that to support through the SOA gateway. So these are the two which we might do going forward. And of course, if there are requirements from customers for any of the other types. So if I were to look at Oracle eBiz, there are about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 types of interfaces that exist in the SOA gateway, and depending on the need, we could add more. Yeah.
Okay. There's another question here around actually deploying the EBS connector. So the question is, do you have to deploy anything on the same server that EBS is running, or any other server, when you're actually deploying the secure agent as well as the connector? So if you could add some color to that, that would be great.
So the answer is it basically depends. So Oracle eBiz SOA gateway runs on a specific port. It listens to requests on a specific port. So in my case, I don't know whether you noticed it on the URL, there was something machine name :8002, and 8002 is obviously my port here. So if that port is available, exposed out of the firewall, then of course the agent can access it from anywhere as installed, because this is web services, and therefore there is nothing needs to be installed on the machines running EBS. Yeah.
Okay, great. There's actually a follow-up question from the person who asked about batching. So if our connector cannot handle batching, what is the best way to, do batching into Oracle E-Business Suite? So there's a question around that.
So the SOA gateway itself does not support batching, because this is web services, right? So you have to deal with it one request at a time. We could think of enhancing the connector itself to do batching on our side, which essentially means caching the data in the connector and calling eBiz. So it's one approach which we could take in the future. But for the present, batching has to be, if you want to do batching, then you'll have to access it through the tables, which are essentially the open interface tables, using the Oracle database connector, because that of course does all the regular support for databases. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, those are all the questions that we have in the queue for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the next steps. So for those of you that were on the call today and you want to get started with the Oracle E-Business Suite connector, you can actually download it off the Informatica Marketplace, and that's the second link over there, the community.informatica.com/solutions/Oracle E-Business Suite connector. Before you do that, please do take a look at the actual user guide. The user guide is also posted on our community site, and there's a URL there, community.informatica.com/docs/doc3647. Now, our next Tech Tuesday session on October 29th, that's next Tuesday, is going to be actually talking about Marketo and Salesforce. Now, we all know that there is a native integration between Marketo and Salesforce, so we're going to actually look at how we can execute some of the complex integrations with Informatica Cloud to make sure that those complex integrations can also be done in an easy-to-use manner. So thank you for joining this week's Tech Tuesdays, and we will see you again next week, same place, same time. Thank you.